Yo, welcome to Spectator Sporting. I'm Zach Roach along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wally. We got a big show for y'all today. You know we got a big show. We got Byron on here talk about this boxing thing, school y'all on some things. Before we get into this matchup, make sure you go on Spectator Sporting YouTube page, subscribe, like, comment. We appreciate all the love, and we love when you tell us when we're wrong. If you're riding in the car, go ahead and turn on that Spotify and keep running those TikTok numbers up. In a super welterweight fight, WBC Interim World Super Welterweight Champion Vergil Ortiz made quick work of Erickson Lubin with a second round knockout. As for whatever reason, Lubin decided to chill on the ropes and he got caught with a vicious right hook which made him go to sleep standing up. The ref quickly stopped the fight. Vergil Ortiz improved to 24-0, 22 knockouts. Lubin falls to 27-3, being knocked out for the third time in his boxing career, and there's a good chance we have seen the last of Lubin in big fights. Only question now is whether we'll see Ortiz fights Boots Ennis. Adi, what was your thought on this fight?
Well, Erickson Lubin, he had a good start and solid strategy in the first round.
Yeah, one round. That was 3 minutes.
3 minutes. I disagree. I like the first round. I like the strategy he was doing in the first round. Okay. Now he had a good footwork, the southpaw jab, double jab, stab jab, and when he did get stuck on the ropes in the first round, he smartly clinched and pivoted his way out of the jam. And at one time when he was, calling the ropes in the first round. But in the second round, Vergil Ortiz made some adjustments. He used some head movement to slip those jabs, and then he landed a stiff, painful, straight right hand. And then for some strange and disappointing reason, Lubin just stayed on the ropes. He stayed on the ropes. He had multiple opportunities to get off the ropes. He could have clinched. He could have moved. He could have used his footwork. He didn't do it. He stayed on the ropes, and then Ortiz, that was his dream. And he just went to the body, going upstairs, downstairs, and then he gave him a few overhand rights, and then Lubin was knocked out while standing. The referee stopped the fight. And so, in front of his home crowd in Texas, Vergil Ortiz showed why, despite not having a primary belt, he's Ring Magazine's #1 guy.
Absolutely. I mean, second round knockout, Byron. You saw made really quick work of Lubin. I think y'all all both predicted knockout.
We both predicted.
But second round, did you see that coming, Byron?
This was the worst case scenario. Of course I didn't see this coming. I did predict for Lubin to get knocked out. I think I took 9. Adi took 10.
I took 10. Yeah.
Yeah. So we pretty much believed that this was going to end in a knockout, but Lubin's strategy was just asinine. It made no sense. The way that he approached the puncher that Vergil Ortiz is. Everybody knows Vergil Ortiz is a very huge puncher. You do not want to engage him in any type of physicalities in the first 2 effing rounds. You are capable of throwing 400 jabs a fight. I don't know why you're not leaning on the jab and keeping the fight in the middle of the damn ring, because the ropes are not your friend against Vergil Ortiz. So tactically, I thought it was a horrible way to go after the fight for Lubin. But after hearing he's had 3 different trainers in his last 3 fights, it's something going around. This kid is way more talented than what he produced on Saturday night. And my first thoughts on the fight was it looks suspect as fuck. And I know a lot of people, I just don't want to hear that. And I'm sorry about the language, but that was literally my first thought. It looks super sus. And as far as going forward for 154, this couldn't have been a more bigger obstacle for a Boots versus Vergil Ortiz fight. I think this now basically puts Golden Boy Oscar De La Hoya in the driver's seat for that fight. And now you got 2 guys who think they're firmly footed on the A side of boxing, now both wanting the A side money of a fight, which I don't think is going to happen. So as far as the fight itself, Vergil Ortiz is exactly what I thought he was. I thought he was just going to wear this guy down. I do believe Lubin has a boxing career Still, you know, a lot of people are trying to put him on the shelf. No, I think the kid is young enough to make adjustments. I think he needs a competent trainer. His trainer was atrocious. His game plan was atrocious. So I want to see this kid with another trainer. I want to see him back in the mix because I really do think he's game. But, man, he laid a goose egg on Saturday.
Yeah.
He is young. He can maybe come back to fight, but he might need to take a break. Listen, man, you've been, and your all 3 losses, if correct me if I'm wrong, have ended in him being on the canvas forever.
Yeah.
Like, he's, you know, and I that could take a toll on the boxer. That can not only take a toll, it can also mess with your confidence. Like, if I'm, you know, like, and it's just he didn't, like you say, Brian, he didn't look right in that fight.
It didn't look right.
He didn't look right.
It looks
even him walking to the ring, he didn't look like he belonged. I don't know.
It looks suspect.
It definitely was off. I mean, we waited a couple hours to watch the fight just for the last 2 rounds.
Yeah. And he did the same thing against Jesus Ramos Jr.
Yeah.
He was on the ropes too much against him, and Ramos was doing, you know, he just don't have the power as Ortiz, so he didn't knock him out. Yeah. But when the Hammer Lubin, when he started to box Jesus Ramos Jr., he was looking really good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, I don't know if it's endurance, I don't know if he gets tired, but
it's the second round. That's what my thing was. It's the second round.
Right.
You know, if this happens in the 5th, 6th round, I'm like, okay, you know, maybe you I don't know. Maybe you just felt like you couldn't get him outbox him. But I'm like, you didn't even give fighting in the center of the ring a chance. And that's why I was like, I didn't give you kudos for the first round, because in the first round I saw him like tactically putting himself in a position to be by the ropes. And I'm screaming like, get the fuck away from the ropes. You cannot be near the ropes with Vergil Ortiz, because he is looking for you to get near the ropes. And this guy's body punching is just on point. He attacks the body, he attacks the head, and you just don't know where he's coming from. And just taking away your movement with this guy's offense is just insane. It's insane.
It was.
So shout out to Vergil Ortiz. Listen, it ain't his fault that Lubin wanted to sit on the ring. Sit on the ropes. He did exactly what he's supposed to. But now, the question, Byron,
here we go.
Everybody wants to know.
And you see, everybody takes a drink, because you're gonna need a drink to get through this next segment.
So obviously, Boots Ennis was iced out at the fight, looking fresh as I don't know what. Like, he's ready to go. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, are we going to see, is Vergil Ortiz next for Boots Ennis?
I don't believe so. Like I told, you know, I hate when I'm right about something that I want to be wrong in.
Okay.
And I want to see this fight. But this is a worst case scenario. And the reason why it's a worst case scenario is because, you know, you now have put Oscar De La Hoya in the pole position as far as his demands for this fight. And I want you guys to pay attention to what Crocs Ennis said when he entered to the ring. The first thing he said was, let's get this money. It's about the money, people. And that's what it comes down to. It's about the money. And it's about what Oscar De La Hoya sets to earn with Vergil Ortiz as the ambassador for the Mexican people, their next champion. You got Canelo, you don't know what's going on with this guy. Maybe he has 2 fights left. I guarantee you they won't be ultra competitive. There'll be money fights, but then he's going to skate off into the sunset. So what Oscar De La Hoya has in Vergil Ortiz is a golden egg. He has a guy that could be the ambassador for the sport, be the ambassador for the Mexican people, who he can get this guy fighting every Cinco de Mayo and just kind of fill him in right behind that Canelo prototype blueprint and just make a ton of effing money, which is, that's all Oscar De La Hoya cares about. He doesn't care about the sport. He doesn't care about making the most competitive fights. He cares about the money. And allegedly, they want $10 million to fight Boots Ennis. They want $10 million to fight Boots Ennis, which I think is basically pricing yourself out of the fight. And the thing is, with Boots showing up there, I think this was Eddie Hearn making a play because they know that they're losing position as far as the bargaining power of this fight and what they're going to demand and what they're not going to get. So I think they show up so they can show to the people and say, hey, we're challenging this guy. We want this. But if you look at Vergil's camp, I'm talking about even the week leading up to the fight, they were saying they knew nothing about the negotiations for the Crocs Ennis fight. Nobody knows if he's going to accept the fight. And then after the fight, Robert Garcia's literally his first words were, "We have more lucrative options. We have better fights." And then you have Earl Spence that is making the Ghost has coming out and just making his presence known. You have Charlo that's there, and I swear to you, I do not feel confident that fight is going to happen in 2026. Dang. And the reason being is because Oscar De La Hoya is not going to give his A-side money up to anybody, and Crocs Ennis hasn't done enough at 154 to make that demand. So now you have the two most corrupt entities in boxing standing at the other side of the table, and both of them want money, then somebody's gonna have to take the lesser of. Mm-hmm. And you got is Crocs gonna take less money, or is Vergil gonna take less money? And I don't think either one of those entities take less money, because Crocs can always fight in Philadelphia, so he'll always say, "Hey, I'll take my bag here and I'll go fight Lubin."
I'll rematch with Wiesma Lima.
All right, Wiesma Lima too, and I'll make the money. But I'm telling you, man, I do not have any confidence for this fight happening.
Yeah, well, Eddie Hearn was talking about how Boots, he accomplished more than Ortiz because he's like a unified champion for 147, but
he fought one time for a belt. He fought one time. He was emailed one belt, and then he fought one time.
Yeah, but Vergil Ortiz, he's Ring Magazine's #1 154-pound guy, but he doesn't have a belt. Yeah.
Shout out to the WWE belts that Vergil had on his shoulders. Like, what were those belts? Like, you're touting interim gold?
Boxing.
Jesus.
Come on. We need somebody to step in, and I need Byron to be wrong, because this is the fight we need to see next. We need to see this fight. Obviously, Ortiz showed himself to be one of the best. Boots, if you're one of the best, this is what needs to be the fight. Adi, do you have any faith that this fight is going to happen at 26, or are you like Byron, like, nah, the corrupt indices on the side is going to stop him?
Well, the Boots Ennis versus Vergil Ortiz matchup could be promoted as some pseudo unification title fight.
Okay. Oh,
because Boots Ennis has the interim WBA belt, and Vergil Ortiz has the interim WBC belt. Okay. But what makes these times right now, this point in time, so interesting and exciting is that if the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, and Eddie Hearn can't reach an agreement to get those boys in the ring and battle, there's several other great fights to be made in this junior middleweight division. It looks like finally the Russian Boogeyman, after over a year of being ducked, the Russian Boogeyman, Bakhram Murtazaliev, has a match versus it's going to be in late January, that's what the reports are saying, going against the #3 IBF contender from the UK, Josh Pretty Boy Kelly, okay? And Bakhram said he's not going to be looking too pretty when I'm done with him. He didn't say it.
And that's what Eddie Hearn was trying to get Josh Kelly versus Crocs Ennis.
Yeah, but it looks like in late January, Josh Kelly versus Bakhram Murtazaliev, Vergil Ortiz or Boots Ennis can fight the winner of that matchup, okay? And it
but also not fight each other.
Right. Yeah. I mean, these are the options.
Yeah, I know.
And so now it looks like the Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman fight will be on the undercard in January on that Manny Pacquiao fight. Whoever Pacquiao is going to fight is going to be Floyd Mayweather, Lomachenko, Rolly Romero,
or Ryan Garcia.
One of those guys, maybe all of them at the same time. He's just that good.
He's just that good.
Yeah, but so hey, they'll be fighting for the WBC belt. Fundora and Thurman, they can fight the winner of that fight right there. And then you got the Puerto Rican phenom Xander Zayas, the WBO champ. He's seeking a unification fight with the WBA champ Abbas Baru. All right, so this deep and competitive 154-pound division, the deepest division in boxing, is heating up. So if Vergil Ortiz and Boots Ennis don't want to fight each other, they can fight one of the winners of those fights. There's plenty of options. So I'm excited what's going to happen in 2026, because Boots and Vergil Ortiz, even if they don't fight each other, they're going to fight somebody that's really highly
Is it? Because let me tell y'all something. I do not live in imagination land. I hated that. But I'm telling you what I think. I think this is gonna happen. You like literally have to watch this like you're watching some type of mystery novel, and you have to take the clues and piece them together. When they asked Vergil Ortiz who he wanted to fight next, what did he say? He said he's always wanted to fight Errol Spence Jr. That's what he said. He said his dream fight was Errol Spence Jr. And it hit me out of left field. I said, you know what? We may see a card that shows Vergil Ortiz versus Errol Spence Jr. with a co-main event of Crocs Ennis versus Jermell Charlo. That could happen, and that could be a very lucrative card just off those two fights right there. That card sells. You can patch in, but I think we'll see more of a collusion between Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn as opposed to taking their superstars and putting them on a collision course together. Because again, they just want to make money. They don't care about furthering the sport. Obviously, these guys are the two biggest pump fakers at 154 because they have all the accolades but none of the championships. When really how this should play out is, if you're not going to give me what I want in this fight, I'll go get a belt.
Right.
That's really how it should play out.
Yeah.
Because in this game between Vergil Ortiz and Crocs Ennis, whoever has a belt wins. And again, so now we don't have a belt as that piece that sets, who's going to get A side or not. We have basically who has more fans, who brings bigger draws, who's more, like literally Eddie Hearn is talking about who's more decorated when your fighter has only fought one damn time for a belt in the ring. This is insanity. But I do believe that they are going to find a way to duck each other in 2026. And while there are a lot of matchups that will be competitive and must see, Errol Spence Jr. versus Vergil Ortiz is not a highly touted
Maybe
fight.
3 years ago.
Exactly. Getting
Yeah.
Errol Spence Jr. off the longest layoff of his career, where we don't even know what he is, just because he's going to be the biggest draw that you could sell at AT&T and make a ton of money. I'm telling you, Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy are going to find a way to make this taste like the worst taste of shit. Like, they're going to find a way to mess this up. And even though 154 is so deep and so competitive, there are still ways that you can just get those fights that are just, look good on paper, but lackluster in the ring.
Remember when Fundora was pretending like he was going to fight Errol Spence Jr. when he ducked Terrence Crawford? And so I don't think Errol Spence Jr., we've seen this movie before where Errol Spence Jr. was supposed to fight Fundora and they kept pushing back the date and it was just a big waste of time. Right. And I think Vergil Ortiz, if they're talking about fighting, if they pursue Errol Spence Jr., he probably going to go on the biggest fight drought in his career.
Yeah, but this is the thing. The thing is, it was so weird because all these entities were there Saturday. Yeah, and so it's like, what are y'all playing? Like, it does make sense. It makes sense. Okay, you guys have given us this. We both need these tune-ups. Okay, everybody knocked out their tune-ups. Fight. And it's not that. You know what I'm saying? It's totally not that, because it seems like everybody on Vergil's side is basically saying, we got better options. We're not locking into this fight. And we have to also remember that these guys were supposed to fight at 147. So I don't know if it's some residual energy, some negative energy from negotiations that happened years ago, but it just seems like they cannot make sense of something that shouldn't be complicated at all. It's like both of you guys are young, both of you guys are approaching the pinnacles of your career. Make the effing fight, and they're not doing it.
Well, Vergil Ortiz is from Dallas, Charlo's from Texas, Spence is from Dallas, so I can see that happening in Dallas, like the whole Charlo versus Boots and Vergil versus.
It'll make a lot of money. It'll make a lot of money.
Listen, boxers, listen, y'all. You see us right here, us three, we are fans. It's got to be a point in time where you do it for your fans. The fans who paid these monster payments for pay-per-view, go to these fights. You got to give the fans what they want. Stop BSing around and give the fans. It's too many, not just boxing, in sports, period. There's just too much disrespect to the fans right now. And you keep not giving the fans what they want, they're going to stop watching and no one's going to care about boxing. Right. Make the damn fight happen.
You know what? And I just thought I think that it's more pressure. Let's say they don't fight. Boots and Vergil don't fight, right? I think it's more pressure on Boots to get a legitimate fight.
Yes.
Vergil, because he fought Borhotuk, he fought Madrimov.
Make no mistake about this. Crocs Ennis made this what it was. He made this what it was. You know why? Because he let Eddie Hearn scrape the bottom of the barrel for an opponent. And basically, like skill-wise, I will not sit up here and tell you that I think Vergil Ortiz is more skilled than Crocs Ennis. I don't believe that. But Vergil Ortiz is more battle-tested. Yeah. And so in a fight that goes into the championship rounds, I can look at Vergil Ortiz's body of work and say, yeah, this is what he can do against legit opponents. Yeah. And with Crocs Ennis, we can't do that. And then Eddie Hearn comes up with this stupid idea to bring this guy that nobody heard of, first time in America, and tout him as this is the guy that prepares you for 154, and he's nothing but a speed bump, and now you want to demand A-side privilege, and you're just not going to get it against Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya is never going to give you A-side privilege with that type of resume. It's just never going to happen.
Yeah, you can't fight Wisma Lima and then say you're the A-side.
Exactly.
154.
Exactly.
But the pressure's on Boots. Like, if Boots can't get Vergil Ortiz, he's going to have to fight Bakram.
He's going to have to fight.
He's going to have to. He's going to have to fight Sanders Zayas. He's going to fight a killer. He's going to fight a dog.
He's going to have to be the belt collector that he proclaims that he's going to be.
He's going to have
you're going to have to get belts because you don't have nothing else as a bargaining chip. You know what I'm saying? And Eddie Hearn has put you behind the 8-ball, and that's why I'm watching a fight, and when he gets knocked out in the second round, I'm like, that fight ain't gonna happen. Because now Oscar is going to say, I want everything. Yeah. I want everything. And Eddie Hearn is just not gonna give it.
Definitely. So, final thoughts on the junior the division.
Yeah, well, I want to say, like, Israel Madrimov, he won the WBA title last year, and then he gave Terrence Crawford the toughest fight of his career, then versus Vergil Ortiz. I don't want any credit taken away from Vergil Ortiz Jr., but a few months before Madrimov signed up to fight Vergil Ortiz, he was supposed to fight Serhiy Bohachuk, but he canceled the fight due to an illness, due to bronchitis and viral infection. And so then fast forward a couple weeks before the Vergil Ortiz Jr. fight, Madrimov, his doctor was trying to tell him to cancel that fight, but he went ahead and fought anyway, and he looked good for the first 4 rounds, but Vergil Ortiz took over, and he won fair and square. Vergil Ortiz gets all the credit for beating him, but Madrimov, he had a surgery, shoulder surgery, knee surgery, getting over the sicknesses, and so I want to see how he bounced back, if he can be a major player at 154, because, I mean, you talk about he fought the best fighter in boxing, Terrence Crawford, and it was a tough fight for Terrence Crawford. Yeah. And against Vergil Ortiz, he was looking good against Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz won
first half of that fight.
Yeah, first half of the fight he was looking good, and he, saying he was compromised and things like that. So this guy, it's not like he got knocked out by these guys in the second round, fifth round. He didn't get stopped. He didn't get knocked down. He's still in his prime. He's 30 years old. So I do want to see what's going on. He did talk about going up to 160 to fight the unified champion Janovic at 160, and so we know Terrence Crawford's talking about going back to 160, but I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Madrimov at 154. Very deep division.
Brian, what's your thoughts? Final thoughts on the 154 division?
154 is for my anime fans, it's feeling like a Dragon Ball Z cliffhanger. Is Earl Spence going to fight again? Is Thurman versus Fundora ever gonna happen? Who is Vergil Ortiz? When is Vergil Ortiz gonna fight for a belt?
Charlo.
What is Charlo gonna do? There are more questions in this division, and it's starting to resemble the mire that Gervonta Tank Davis created at 135. You cannot have the top players in your division refuse to fight each other or duck smoke and then see your division prosper. It just doesn't work like that. I think I can't look past 154 until we deal with the Vergil Ortiz and Croc situation, which make no doubt about it, the side that I stand on is I want to see these two guys fight. I think because of their lack of championship pedigree that they should fight. It's as highly touted as they are. We should see that collision. The fight fans deserve it. The sport needs it. But unfortunately, boxing is just infected with greed right now. A greed that has slowly killed it for decades, and it's going to continue to kill it. And we're going to see it manifest at 154, unfortunately. We have to get a fight between top guys at 154. And really, it's looking like a unified champion needs to manifest in some form, be it Murtazaliev or be it Fundora. You know, Fundora is a guy that can do that as well.
Well, then Zayas trying to fight Abaz Baroof.
And the thing is, Zayas, I like Zayas a lot, but Zayas is young. And I feel like if you're looking at Crocs Ennis, Crocs needs to be targeting Zayas. Because I think with his experience, he can get that guy, get him early, and you can win that fight. But does Crocs Ennis believe that he can beat him? You know, and that's the thing that literally makes my head explode when I look at these numbers and I look at these champions that will go in these rings and they pump their chest and say, I'm the man here, everybody, I'm not ducking no smoke, and then you duck the smoke. And so I just want to see these guys fight, you know what I'm saying? But I'm preparing you guys, I'm not gonna sell you short. Do not think that you're going to see Crocs Ennis versus Vergil Ortiz first quarter of next year. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Oscar De La Hoya has something cooking. And hey, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I wanna see Errol Spence fight again. And if Errol Spence wants to come back and fight Vergil Ortiz, I'ma tune in. If Charlo wants to fight Crocs Ennis, Charlo will be his most relevant opponent
in his career.
And I'm gonna tune in. So the fact of the matter is they have fights that are lucrative for them, that the public still can be entertained by, but at the end of the day, the champions need to fight the champions, and that's it, and that's all.
That's the motto. Listen, don't forget about your fans. Your fans want to see y'all fight. Y'all want to get paid. The best way to get paid is fight who you supposed to fight. That's how you gonna make the most money. You've been watching Spectator Sporting. I'm Zach Roach, along with my partner, Mr. Adi Wally. Shout out to Brian, appreciate it. Make sure y'all go on Spectator Sporting page on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment. Man, we appreciate all the love y'all give us, much appreciated. Keep running those numbers up on TikTok. Also, if you ride in your car, go ahead and bump it on your Spotify. In the meantime, in between time, we out. Peace.